I got started with art probably since I was old enough to hold a crayon. I would spend hours sitting at my kitchen table or my grandmother's kitchen table with a craft box, and that's probably the only time I ever sat still. I traveled, I took jobs in marketing, I lived in Europe, and then I moved to Australia because I didn't know what to do with my life, and it wasn't really until I had my first daughter that I thought, it's now or never. I wanted to set an example for my daughter of a mother who chases her dreams, whether or not they're viable. I just wanted to do it for the love, and I think that's when everything switched into doing the thing that I love most and that I'm most passionate about, and really having my children as a motivator. My name is Dawn Rieniets. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, and I'm a painter. COVID-19 definitely affected my work. At first, I was a little bit relieved, to be honest, because I think I was burning out a little bit. I thought, oh, well, if the exhibitions are canceled and I don't have these deadlines, I can just paint what I want. And that's what I started to do. But some of the pieces I started to create really resonated with my audience, and they started asking for things. It's really forced me outside of my comfort zone in a lot of ways. There were things that I thought, I can't do. Like, I can't paint faces, or I don't do landscapes. And I started trying to create these things for people and really focus on having a plan, what type of energy these people wanted to bring to their pieces, and for me to get excited about what I see in my head and how that matches up with what they see in theirs. So it's somehow given me more confidence in my ability to bring people's visions to life. And I think at the end of the day, my business is about self-expression and helping people express their identities in a piece of art, because it shows the world who we are. I've discovered a lot about myself creatively and personally through isolation, because I thought I was brave and strong at times in my life, like moving across the world, but I think I didn't realize the endurance that I had to put up with what we have to do. The first isolation was harder in some ways because we didn't know how long it was going to be or when it was going to end, and I was a little overwhelmed with the creative energy that was kind of flowing through my life and my business. And then when we came out of isolation, I almost felt like, oh no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to go back into the new world. I want to go back into my little hole and hide in my studio. The stage 4 lockdown was a wake-up call, because you can't move around, you can't go anywhere, but you also know how many other people are suffering, and that is a lot to deal with mentally. I think we're just trying to get through it at the moment, and because my work is also wrapped up in my identity and my self-expression, I have to kind of split myself in half on the weekends, and doing some of my creative work is therapeutic for me and helps me process all the emotions I have felt during the week, kind of being on my own all day. I think I've realized more than ever that this is my calling and this is what I'm meant to be doing. There were many years in the past, especially when I started my business, where I thought, what's the point? I'm never going to be as good as X person, or I'm never going to be successful, but it doesn't matter. This is who I am, and this is what I need to do to make myself happy, and I'll always have that, and that's been a blessing. So I think all of these things are put under a magnifying glass during COVID and during isolation, because we need to really put in perspective what matters to us. So with the pandemic came the Black Lives Matter movement. It was almost the perfect storm for a problem this big to be put under a magnifying glass. I knew that racism was a problem. I thought I was more woke than most, but I realized that I had no idea how bad it was. I have an African American friend who lives here in Australia, and she said to me, I want you to paint me a black goddess. And I just knew I had to do this work for her. We collaborated on the design. I put it to the top of the queue. It flew out of me, and my audience went nuts for it. This painting was a gift, and so many people loved this piece. And even though I sensed there was a bit of controversy around it, I thought, how can I turn this around? So I had the piece of art professionally photographed, and I did 2 print runs, one really small, but the main print run, I donated every single cent of profits to 2 organizations. One was the Black Designers Guild in the US, and the other one was an indigenous arts organization here. So I think the more artists of color we can support, the better. It's just taking that little step outside of my door into the community. Try to make whatever small differences we can. Artists are almost record takers of the times that we live in, drawing pictures of women with masks on and taking what they see and making it into art, which is what we normally do anyway. But I think maybe normally we all have such diverse interests and we go about our lives and there's not much to worry about, but the pandemic has caused us all to have this common connection and common understanding in a way. And I think it's really going to be interesting to see what other works are produced out of this time, because it does change everything. The piece I'm working on now was intended for an exhibition now canceled at the Eltham Library. This exhibition was organized by my art group, Thou Art Mum, and we were all meant to choose a book that meant something to us. And one of my favorite books is Women Who Run with the Wolves. So this piece is about your intuition, your inner knowing, being free from societal pressures and the patriarchal standards that often hold women back from finding their true calling and true creativity in their lives. So it's interesting that a lot of these themes play out during isolation itself, because we all are kind of trapped in our homes, trying to do the right thing for one another and stop the spread of COVID, but we have to find this deep inner strength in order to not only get through this, but thrive within this environment. So whether or not that requires us to go deep within, reevaluate what matters to us in our lives, or tap into that deep inner knowing in order to be truly happy, we need to find that within ourselves. So this piece started from one thing and turned into another. And as I work on it, I'm reminded of how important it is to stay true to my own creativity and intuition,